In this video, I need you to listen carefully, because this is not just another full moon. This is a warning. Something is shifting, and many people around the world are already feeling it, but they don't understand what is happening to them. They think it is stress. They think it is bad luck. They think something is wrong with their life. But the truth is, this full moon energy shift is not here to destroy you. It is here to wake you up. The problem is, awakening never feels comfortable. Awakening feels like everything is falling apart before everything starts falling into place. Right now, during this full moon energy, emotions are rising, old memories are coming back, people from the past are suddenly appearing in your mind or even in your life. You may feel more sensitive than usual. You may feel tired without reason. You may feel like you want to be alone. You may feel like something big is about to happen, but you don't know what. If you are feeling this is not random. This is one of the awakening signs you cannot ignore now. Full moon energy has always been about endings, releases, and revelations. But this time, the energy is different. This time, it is pushing people to face truths they have been avoiding for years. Many people will realize they are in the wrong job, wrong relationship, wrong environment, wrong lifestyle. And this realization is painful because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. This is why many people feel emotional during this time. They are not weak, they are transforming. You may also notice that you are losing interest in things that once excited you. Parties, gossip, social media drama, proving yourself to people, arguing, competing with others. All these things may start feeling meaningless. You may start thinking deeper about life, about purpose, about time, about who you really are. This is a major awakening sign. When your mind starts asking deeper questions instead of chasing temporary happiness, it means your consciousness is expanding. Another sign during this full moon energy shift is that some people will leave your life. Not because you are bad, not because they are bad, but because your energies are no longer aligned. Awakening often comes with separation. You cannot become a new person while holding on to everything from your old life. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. And this full moon is closing many chapters for many people. You may also feel a strong urge to change your habits, your routine, your goals, even your personality. You may suddenly want peace more than excitement. You may suddenly prefer a small circle instead of many friends. You may suddenly start valuing time more than money and respect more than attention. These are not random thoughts. This is growth. This is awakening. But here is the most important part of this warning. When life starts changing, many people panic and try to go back to their old life, their old habits, their old comfort zone. They ignore the signs. They ignore their intuition. They ignore their inner voice. And then they feel stuck again. The full moon energy shows you what needs to change, but it cannot force you to change. The decision is always yours. Right now, the universe is not punishing you. It is preparing you. The confusion you feel is not to stop you. It is to redirect you. The delays you face are not rejection. They are protection. The endings you see are not failures. They are new beginnings in disguise. But most people will not understand this until later, when everything finally makes sense. There is also something very interesting about awakening. When you start changing, your environment will test you. People will test you. Situations will test you. Old temptations will come back. Old habits will try to return. Old people may suddenly message you. This is not coincidence. This is a test to see if you are really changing or just talking about change. Many people ask, why does awakening feel so lonely? Because not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Not everyone is meant to walk with you. Some people are comfortable sleeping, and when you wake up, they will call you different, strange, arrogant, or distant. But you are not changing into someone worse. You are changing into someone real. During this full moon energy shift, one of the biggest signs is clarity. Suddenly, you will see people clearly. You will understand who respects you, who uses you, who loves you, who competes with you, who pretends to support you, and who genuinely wants to see you grow. This clarity can be painful, but it is powerful, because once you see people clearly, you stop wasting time on the wrong people. You will also start understanding yourself more, your patterns, your fears, your mistakes, your strengths, your purpose. Awakening is not about becoming perfect. Awakening is about becoming aware. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe for daily cosmic insights, astrology updates, and spiritual guidance, because the universe always has a message for you. Aware of your thoughts, aware of your actions, aware of your energy, aware of your time, aware of your life direction. And here is something most people don't realize. Awakening is not a happy process. Awakening is a lonely process, a confusing process, an emotional process, and sometimes even a painful process. But on the other side of awakening is peace, real peace, not temporary happiness, not distraction, not entertainment, but peace. So if your life feels uncertain right now, if your mind feels heavy, if your emotions are strong, if your circle is getting smaller, if your goals are changing, if your patience is being tested, if your past is coming back, if your future feels unclear, don't panic. You are not lost. You are transforming. This full moon energy shift is not here to make your life comfortable. It is here to make your life meaningful. Comfortable people don't change. Challenged people change. And maybe this is your time to change. Years from now, you may look back at this phase of your life and realize this was the moment everything started changing. Not outside, but inside. Because the biggest life changes always start inside first. So don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore your intuition. Don't ignore the changes happening in your life right now. This may not be the easiest phase of your life, but it might be the most important phase of your life. And maybe, just maybe, you are not falling apart. Maybe you are falling into place. There is something else happening during this full moon energy shift that many people don't talk about. It is the feeling that you no longer belong where you are, but you also don't know where you belong yet. This feeling is very strange. It feels like you are standing between your old life and your new life, but the new life has not fully appeared yet. This is one of the most confusing stages of awakening. You are not who you used to be, but you are not yet who you are becoming. During this phase, patience becomes your biggest lesson, because transformation does not happen in one night. Energy shifts do not change your life instantly. They change your direction, and direction changes everything slowly over time. Many people quit during this phase because they think nothing is happening. But in reality, everything is happening behind the scenes. You may also start noticing that you cannot fake things anymore. You cannot fake interest. You cannot fake relationships. You cannot fake happiness. You cannot fake respect. Your energy simply refuses to pretend anymore. You start valuing honesty, peace, and authenticity more than popularity, attention, and approval. This is a powerful sign of awakening because most people live their entire lives trying to impress others, but awakened people start trying to understand themselves. Another thing that happens during this energy shift is that your intuition becomes stronger. You start feeling things before they happen. You start understanding people without them speaking much. You start sensing when something is wrong and when something is right. This is because when your mind becomes quieter, your intuition becomes louder. But this also comes with a challenge. When you start seeing things clearly, you cannot go back to ignorance. You cannot go back to fake friendships, fake goals, fake lifestyles. Once you wake up, you wake up. And that is why awakening changes your entire life, not just your thoughts. Many people around you may not understand what you are going through. They may think you are overthinking. They may think you are changing too much. They may think you are becoming distant. So if you feel like you are changing and people around you are not changing, don't panic. Every person has a different timeline. Everyone wakes up at a different time. Some people wake up early, some people wake up late, and some people never wake up. Your journey is your journey. This full moon is not just about emotions. It is about realization. Realizing who you are, what you want, what you don't want, who deserves your energy, and what truly matters in your life. One of the biggest awakening signs during this full moon energy shift is emotional release. You may suddenly remember old memories, old mistakes, old relationships, old regrets. You may feel emotional for no clear reason. You may feel like crying even when nothing bad is happening. This is not weakness. This is release. You are not breaking down. You are clearing space. Think about it like this. You cannot start a new chapter if you keep rereading the old one. And this full moon energy is forcing many people to finally close old chapters that they never properly closed. Forgiveness also becomes a big theme during this time. Not because the other person deserves forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. Holding anger is like carrying heavy weight for years. At some point, you have to put the weight down, not for them, but for yourself. You may also start realizing that many of your biggest lessons came from your biggest mistakes. Many of your strongest qualities came from your hardest times. Many of your most important life changes came from your worst days. Suddenly, your past starts making sense. Suddenly, you understand why certain things happened the way they did. This is one of the most powerful moments in awakening when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this teach me?" Because awakened people don't see life as punishment. They see life as a teacher. During this phase, you may also start spending more time alone. And surprisingly, you may start enjoying it. Not because you hate people, but because you finally enjoy your own company. When you reach a point where you are comfortable alone, you become very powerful because you are no longer making decisions out of loneliness. You start making decisions out of self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. The way people treat you, the way you talk, the way you work, the way you choose friends, the way you choose relationships, everything changes when you start respecting yourself. This full moon energy shift is teaching many people self-respect in a very hard way, through distance, through silence, through endings, and through realizations. There is also a silent transformation that happens during awakening that most people don't notice immediately. Your priorities change. Earlier, you wanted attention. Now you want respect. Earlier, you wanted many friends. Now you want real friends. Earlier, you wanted fast success. Now you want meaningful success. Earlier, you wanted to prove people wrong. Now you just want peace. This is growth. Real growth is quiet. Real growth is not showing everyone how much you changed. Real growth is when you don't react the way you used to react. When things that once made you angry now make you silent. When things that once hurt you now teach you. When things that once distracted you now don't even interest you. You start understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every opinion needs a response. Not every person deserves access to your life. Not every opportunity is meant for you. And not every loss is actually a loss. Some losses are upgrades in disguise. During this full moon energy shift, many people will lose things, lose people, lose opportunities, lose plans they were very sure about. And at first, it will look like everything is going wrong, but later, they will realize that those losses were actually redirections. Life is very interesting. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the best thing that ever happened to you. But you only understand this later, not when it is happening. That is why trust becomes very important during this phase. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust your journey. Trust that not everything that is happening is against you. Some things are happening for you, but you cannot see it yet. Awakening requires a lot of trust because the path is not clear. You don't get a map. You don't get instructions. You only get signs, feelings, intuition, and experiences. You have to walk without knowing exactly where the road ends, and that is scary, but that is also beautiful. If you are still listening to this, then maybe this message was meant for you. Maybe you are one of the people going through this transformation right now. Maybe your life feels uncertain right now. Maybe you feel like you are changing, but you cannot explain how. Maybe you feel like you are losing interest in many things. Maybe you feel like you are becoming quieter, calmer, more observant. Maybe you feel like you are understanding life differently now. If this is happening to you, then don't be afraid. You are not becoming lost. You are becoming aware. Awareness changes everything. Once you become aware of time, you stop wasting it. Once you become aware of energy, you stop giving it to everyone. Once you become aware of yourself, you stop trying to be someone else. Once you become aware of life, you stop living on autopilot. Most people live and die in the same mindset they were taught as children. They never question life, never question themselves, never question their direction. But some people, a few people, start asking deeper questions. They start searching for meaning, not just money. They start searching for peace, not just pleasure. They start searching for purpose, not just popularity. And those people are usually the ones who go through awakening. The truth is, awakening is not about becoming special. Awakening is about becoming real. Real with yourself, real with your life, real with your decisions, real with your time, real with your relationships. So, during this full moon energy shift, don't just look outside, look inside. Ask yourself some honest questions. Am I living the life I actually want, or the life I was told to live? Am I becoming the person I want to become, or just repeating the same year again and again? Am I growing, or just getting older? Because time is passing anyway. The only question is, are you evolving with time, or just moving with time? This full moon is not just an event in the sky. It is a reminder that everything changes, everything moves, everything ends, everything begins again. Life moves in cycles, just like the moon, sometimes full, sometimes empty, sometimes growing, sometimes fading. And maybe right now, your life is also in a cycle. Something is ending, something is beginning, something is changing, something is awakening. So don't ignore the signs now. This might be one of those moments in your life that you will understand much later. And when you finally understand it, you will realize that this was not the time your life was falling apart. This was the time your life was changing direction. This was the time you were changing. This was the time you were awakening.